One QB is starting to take full control of the team. The other is barely holding on. Fans have been debating who should start since the moment Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel were both drafted earlier this year. But now, it seems one of them decided that for everyone. Not with words, but with performance the team couldn't ignore. This wasn't just another day of practice. This was the day Shedeur Sanders took over. Wednesday's practice was never supposed to be anything special, just a routine installation day. 7-on-7 drills, red zone situations, and simulated game reps. But within minutes, it became clear to everyone watching. This session wouldn't be forgotten, ever. From the first snap, the difference between the quarterbacks wasn't just noticeable, it was jarring. According to multiple sources with direct access to team activities, the gap between Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel wasn't just a matter of reps or chemistry. It was a breakdown of capability. Shedeur didn't just look better, he looked elite. His progressions were lightning fast, his timing on throws almost psychic. Ball placement? Dead on. He hit receivers at the precise spots the schemes were designed for, and everything looked smooth, sharp, professional. Coaches and players alike reportedly stood back and watched. It felt like the entire offense transformed the moment Shedeur stepped under center. Then Gabriel's reps followed, and that's when things fell apart. Passes behind receivers, missed timing, broken rhythm, panic in the pocket. The same offense that had just flowed so effortlessly suddenly sputtered when it was Gabriel's turn. One insider described it perfectly. It wasn't a competition anymore. It was a reality check. Observers say the red zone portion was the tipping point. Sanders threaded a perfect 45-yard touchdown strike between two defenders. Veterans were celebrating. Linemen were bumping chests. Even defensive players nodded in approval. It wasn't hype, it was respect. Moments later, Gabriel missed a basic checkdown. No reaction, no encouragement, just silence. And in that silence, something massive shifted. The energy, the focus, what's happening? The locker room chemistry. Everything started pulling towards Shedeur. What began as a quiet contest for the QB1 spot erupted into a defining moment. One quarterback seizing a team, and another watching it slip away in real time. And for the Browns coaching staff, that was the moment they realized the quarterback controversy wasn't just heating up, it had officially blown up. It wasn't just that Shedeur looked good, it's that he looked ready. Not rookie flashing promise ready, not future starter down the road ready. He looked like he belonged under center right now. And that wasn't just coming from the media or fans, it was coming straight from inside the locker room. From the opening reps, Shedeur's command of the offense was total. He processed reads with shocking speed, hitting his checkdowns only when necessary, and delivering the ball with precision even under simulated pressure. His footwork was clean. His pocket presence calm, and his throws almost ridiculously accurate. According to sources who watched it unfold in real time, his passes weren't just completed, they were perfectly timed. Receivers didn't have to break stride. The route concepts unfolded exactly as they were drawn up. And that's when it really hit the staff. This wasn't prospect development. This was franchise quarterback material. One drive in particular stood out. Sanders led the offense down the field in just 5 plays, executing each one like he'd been in the system for years. It ended with a stunning 45-yard touchdown throw split between 2 closing defenders, a throw that most rookies wouldn't even attempt, let alone complete. The sideline erupted. Veteran players made eye contact. Linemen slapped helmets. Even the defense couldn't deny it. Shedeur had just made that kind of throw. But what really told the story wasn't what Sanders did on the field. It was how the team responded to it. Receivers started gravitating toward him between reps. Running backs were seen huddled near him on the sideline. offensive linemen subtly shifted into his space. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. It was chemistry. Real chemistry. The kind you can't manufacture with a press conference or depth chart designation. This wasn't raw talent impressing its spurts. This was leadership emerging in full view of every coach, coordinator, and teammate. And the message Shedeur was sending wasn't loud, but it was clear. I'm the guy now. While Shedeur Sanders was rising, Dillon Gabriel was unraveling right in front of the entire organization. What started as a few shaky throws quickly snowballed into something impossible to ignore. Sources say Gabriel's body language shifted from focused to frantic, panicked feet in the pocket, delayed decisions, and misfires that killed drives before they started. Every wreck seemed to expose a new crack in the foundation. He wasn't just missing passes, he was throwing players off rhythm. Simple timing routes broke down. Receivers were forced to turn against their momentum. Footwork collapsed under pressure. One badly missed checkdown turned heads for the wrong reasons. Then came the sack, followed by a completely busted route that led to visible frustration from coaches on the sideline. According to insiders, what hurt Gabriel most wasn't just the on-field breakdown, it was how the team responded. Receivers slowly drifted away during his reps. Running backs stopped engaging between plays. Offensive linemen began shifting subtly back toward Shedeur. One source said the vibe was unmistakable. The offense only works when Sanders is in. It wasn't vocal. It didn't need to be. The body language said everything. Then came the moment that may have ended things altogether. During the 2-minute drill simulation, Gabriel's unit suffered a 3-and-out. First play, overthrow. Second play, sack. Third play, broken timing, a dead drive. Players didn't need a coach to tell them what was happening. They felt it. Shedeur's earlier drive had ended in a touchdown. Gabriel's ended in silence. The contrast was no longer hypothetical. It was visual, physical, personal. And that's when the weight of it all started sinking in. For every coach watching, for every player on the field, and for Dillon Gabriel himself. Because while Shedeur was owning the moment, Gabriel was fading from it. And everyone knew in real time that this quarterback competition was no longer competitive. One quarterback had momentum. The other was trying not to lose everything. By the time the team period kicked off, it wasn't just a bad day for Dillon Gabriel. It was a crisis unfolding in real time. The offense responded to Shedeur Sanders like he was already the starter. Gabriel, he was becoming invisible. And when teammates instinctively gravitated toward Shedeur after another flawless drive, the boiling point wasn't far behind. That moment came fast and publicly. Multiple sources at the practice reported that Gabriel, visibly frustrated and red-faced, walked straight toward Shedeur near the sideline. What started as a few heated words quickly turned into a confrontation. Gabriel reportedly accused Sanders of showboating and being handed leadership that he hadn't earned. But Shedeur didn't flinch. He didn't argue. He didn't shout. He simply pointed back toward the field, as if to say, "Look at what I just did. Look at what I keep doing." Because by this point, Shedeur no longer needed anyone's approval. He had already earned it. From the players, from the coaching staff, from the energy of the entire team. That's when the tension snapped. Staffers rushed in to separate the two. Coaches intervened immediately, realizing this wasn't just a heated moment, it was a full-blown shift in power dynamics. Players formed a loose circle, instinctively positioning themselves around Sanders, not as a show of protection, but as a sign of allegiance. Practice was moments away from being cut short altogether. That's how serious the shift had become. And Gabriel felt all of it. Not just the loss of momentum, not just the missed throws, but the brutal reality that in front of the full squad, he had lost the room. He wasn't being pushed aside. He was being replaced by performance, by leadership, and by trust. What unfolded on that sideline wasn't just quarterback drama. It was the exact moment the Browns' quarterback future changed, for good. By the time the final whistle blew, the scoreboard didn't need to show numbers. Everyone already knew who had won and who had lost. But the real story wasn't on the field anymore. It moved behind closed doors, inside meeting rooms, and into whispered hallway conversations. Because what unfolded during that Wednesday practice wasn't just player versus player. It was system versus reality. And reality hit Cleveland hard. Head coach Kevin Stefanski emerged for post-practice availability noticeably tense. Reporters asked direct questions about the reps, about the visible performance gap, about the sideline incident. Stefanski didn't give a single clear answer. He didn't have to. His silence said more than any scripted press conference ever could. Inside the locker room, no official announcement was needed. The shift had already happened. Teammates knew it, coaches knew it. Even the equipment staff reportedly noticed the vibe. Shedeur Sanders had taken over the team without saying a word. One veteran player was overheard telling a younger teammate, that wasn't a practice. That was a quarterback change. And make no mistake, Sanders didn't just win some competitive edge. He won the trust of the locker room. He won the acknowledgement of coaches who had previously leaned on experience over potential. He won the respect of veterans who questioned ownership's draft night decisions, but now saw something real. Even those who were skeptical of Sanders' quick rise couldn't ignore what was unfolding. Because it wasn't hype anymore, it was production. Clean drives, sharp execution, complete control, all while the other quarterback, drafted 2 rounds higher, was spiraling under pressure. For every coach who believed Gabriel's system familiarity would carry him, Wednesday was a wake-up call. This wasn't about scheme. This was about ability. And now, no one inside the Browns facility could deny what they had just seen with their own eyes. Inside Berea's facility, the ripple effect of Wednesday's practice didn't stop at the locker room. It hit harder inside the front office, where game plans, draft boards, and long-term visions suddenly collided with on-field reality. Because on one side of this quarterback controversy is Dillon Gabriel, the 3rd-round pick, the guy the team invested in, the supposed system fit brought in to work within the coaching staff's vision. Starting him made sense, on paper. On the other side, Shedeur Sanders, a 5th-rounder, a lightning rod during the draft, a pick many thought ownership forced into the room. And now, he's outplaying the original plan entirely. That's a nightmare scenario for a front office. A lower pick outperforming the higher one doesn't just shift strategy, it triggers accountability. And suddenly, the very people who pushed Gabriel's selection are facing harsh internal questions. Questions like, how did we miss this? Were we too focused on fit and not enough on talent? Did we let politics shape our depth chart? This isn't just about changing quarterbacks. It's about sinking costs, bruised egos, and an uncomfortable truth. Shedeur is doing more with less. Reports suggest that some within the staff wanted Gabriel due to his system knowledge under offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. But Wednesday's practice made one thing painfully clear. Familiarity means nothing if the results don't follow. And in reps, execution, and energy, Sanders dominated every category. Now the front office is trapped. Start Shedeur and admit Gabriel may not have been the right pick. Stick with Dillon and risk losing the locker room, not to mention more games. And looming over it all, ownership. Because the very draft pick some questioned is now looking like one of the smartest gambles the Browns have taken in years. Whether they're ready to say it out loud or not, the coaching staff knows what every scout, player, and trainer saw that day. The quarterback hierarchy has flipped, and the people upstairs are being forced to face it in real time. The ripples from Wednesday's practice didn't stop at the Browns facility. They're now starting to reach the rest of the league. Word travels fast in the NFL. And when a supposed backup quarterback steals the show this dramatically, agents, executives, and insiders start paying attention quickly. Very quickly. According to multiple sources, Dillon Gabriel's camp is already watching the situation closely. They've gone from patient to restless. In their eyes, Gabriel isn't just competing for playing time anymore. He's fighting to protect his career trajectory. If this QB shift becomes official, or even just appears that way quietly, don't be surprised if trade conversations start heating up behind closed doors. Gabriel's agent is reportedly monitoring his client's reps, the coaching staff's tone, and even body language during press conferences. Because from the outside looking in, it's clear. The organization's faith in Gabriel is shaking. Meanwhile, Shedeur's camp is doing the exact opposite. Total silence. No sound bites, no statements, just confidence and performance. Quiet domination has always been Sanders' brand. And this week, that brand couldn't have timed things better. League scouts took notice. Analysts covering practice noted that what Shedeur did wasn't luck. It was repeatable. The footwork, the decision-making, the command. For a rookie with only a few months in the system, it wasn't just surprising. It was unsettling for opponents. NFL insiders now believe that Cleveland could have a legitimate long-term answer if Sanders keeps trending up. That belief is creating buzz around the league. Not just about Shedeur, but about how the Browns handle what comes next. And within the Browns facility, that buzz is starting to build pressure from the outside in. Fans want answers. Agents want clarity. Media wants confirmation. But Shedeur doesn't need any headlines to prove his point anymore. The tape from that practice session says everything. By the time practice ended, there were no more sides to choose. No more waiting to see who earned first-team reps. No more quarterback battle, because it was already over. Everyone who witnessed Wednesday's session, coaches, players, staff, walked away with the same understanding. Shedeur Sanders didn't just win the competition. He took it. He didn't have to campaign for the job. He didn't deliver flashy quotes or demand attention. He simply delivered performance, over and over again, until there was no room left for debate. And Dillon Gabriel, he felt it. Not just the pressure, not just the moment slipping away, but the entire job, the belief, the trust, the locker room's quiet shift towards Sanders. That's what stung the most. Because once a team decides who they believe in, the rest is just paperwork. Now the Browns have a decision to make. Or do they? They can delay the announcement. They can send mixed signals to the media. They can say the competition is still open. But behind the scenes, the decision is made. Hierarchy has already been rewritten, not on a whiteboard, but through actual reps. The offense responds to Shedeur. The defense respects him. The coaching staff saw it. The front office knows it. Even if they're not ready to say it out loud, they feel it. This wasn't a hopeful glimpse of potential. It was a full-on paradigm shift. A rookie stepping in like a seasoned vet and forcing the entire organization to move forward, whether they're ready or not. So call it what you want. Development, evaluation, a learning curve. But know this, the Browns' future at quarterback became crystal clear Wednesday afternoon. And it's wearing number 14.